Alright, guys, so A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Episode 2 has aired. I have viewed it with my eyeballs, and I would like to talk about it. So we start off with this very well hung gentleman. they, they show us his elephant trunk, and you know what? I'm impressed. I gotta say, this guy had he had a lot going on in his life. You know, a lot of not so great stuff. Perhaps he wasn't the most respected knight, it seems, but you know what? He did have something to live for. I'll give him that. No, I really like these intros where we learn more about what was his name again? Like Sir Alan something. Oh my gosh, I'm like the people in the show. I don't remember his name, but I do really like the sort of a way that Sir Dunk talks about him versus what he actually was like. Like he seems like a nice guy, right? That took care of Duncan, but it's like Duncan really puts him in this on this really high pillar. Uh, but that's not necessarily what he was. So I do really like sort of the polarization of the description versus reality. I continue to really enjoy the dynamic between these two characters as well. Like there were some genuine like laugh out loud moments in this, whether it be the bit where and that is in the screenshot there where he's like, I'll hunt you down with dogs, but you don't have any dogs. I'll find some. There was also a moment later in the episode where where the kid is talking about how he's short and how everyone always says that he's small even for his age, and and Duncan is like, everyone's called me dumb my whole life, and then the kid is just like, and it's like he doesn't actually have anything more to make him feel better about his situation. I think these two actors are actually really great together. He's a kid actor that doesn't suck. It is actually possible to find those, isn't it? It is interesting that we see familiar, houses that we've seen in other Game of Thrones shows, because I'm just like so not into the lore and stuff of Game of Thrones. So at first, like, I honestly had no idea, like, if this took place before House of the Dragon or if it took place after House of the Dragon, but before Game of Thrones. The more I've heard people talk about it, I think, and you can let me know in the comments if I have this right or wrong, I think this takes place after House of the Dragon, but before Game of Thrones. So, like, after House of the Dragon, in the sense that the Targaryens don't have dragons anymore, but they're still around as a house. So, I wonder if we actually are, or like, I don't know if the show is going to deal with the whole thing of the Targaryen house falling, right? Because at the start of Game of Thrones, the Targaryens aren't really around anymore. I'm pretty sure that's correct, right? It's just Daenerys and her brother that are kind of like trying to bring their house back. I like this scene here where Duncan has this kind of wholesome interaction with the two knights, and the knight basically gives him the advice of, you just kind of got to go for it, dude, right? Like, you got to make things happen. You got to have some gumption, some moxie in order to get into this competition. We then see Dunk meet up with these Targaryens who give him, I guess, I forget exactly how it works, but they, I guess, give him the pass in order to compete in the tournament. And we basically, this episode really hints at something that was spoiled for me, so I am just going to say it, right? Egg is a Targaryen, right? He is. You know what? I won't say what was spoiled for me. By the way, Game of Thrones fans, can you not? Like, it was written on a comment on one of my reviews. They were like, Egg is actually this character. I'm like, can you not do that? Like, you don't need to do that. Anyways, but yeah, this episode very like heavily hints that he's a Targaryen. He gets scared when he sees the Targaryen flag. He doesn't want them to see him. I'm assuming there's a reason that he shaved his head. It's probably white. um, And yeah, they reveal that that their sons are missing, or one of the characters' sons are missing. And so you know that that's gonna play into the plot into the future. I assume that there's gonna be a scene where they find the son, and they're like, and then they see that Dunk is hanging out with him, and they're gonna think that he kidnapped them. And that's gonna be a big miscommunication, and yeah, I feel like I can predict where this is kind of gonna go. Um, but for now, they were actually fairly nice, and the guy that finally remembered his his father figure. What exactly was he to him? He was the squire, and the guy was the knight, Sir Alan, whatever. He remembered Sir Alan, and yeah, it was a nice moment where he was like, he wasn't the best knight, but he was always honorable, or something like that. We also just get this absolutely tragic sequence where where Sir Dunk just fumbles the baddie, as the kids say. No, I assume that she's gonna be a love interest in the future. Like, I don't think he necessarily fumbled it. I think we are gonna see that progress. They mentioned that she was tall. I feel like I don't know. I need to see them standing next to each other so that I can really really see that, because I feel like I couldn't really tell just by seeing her in the episode. Okay, to be clear, I decided to just look back and see what it looked like. When I was watching this, I kind of assumed that she was walking on stilts. She's not actually this tall. I don't think, is she? No, she's definitely not. We also see this blacksmith agree to make armor for Sir Duncan at a lower cost than he normally would. And it's just it like I mentioned this a lot in my review of the first episode. It's just nice to see non a-holes in Game of Thrones. Like, I really like this world. I really like the you know the the feel of Game of Thrones, but I don't necessarily need every Game of Thrones thing to just be the most miserable thing ever with the most miserable characters ever. I'm really liking a show where we're just rooting for this guy, and good things are just kind of happening to him. I'm not. I'm trying not to be too naive. Like, I'm assuming that it's gonna get more Game of Thronesy as it goes along, and I assume bad things are probably gonna start coming. But for now, I appreciate that this nice blacksmith guy took pity on Sir Duncan and was like, you know what? I will make this armor for you. We then get this really interesting scene after they see like the first round of jousting or whatever, where Sir Duncan gets all these flashbacks, and he kind of, is more like honest about how good of a knight Sir Alan actually was. And you kind of think that his little monologue is going to end with him saying that maybe he's not actually worthy of being in this competition. Maybe he doesn't believe that he's going to win. But I like that it ends with him going, you know what? I'm going to show all of these jackasses that don't remember my mentor, like, what's what. I'm going to go in and I'm going to crush it tomorrow. I like that that's the way it ended. And yeah, overall, really enjoyed the second episode as well. I am looking forward to next week. So you should look forward to it too, and then watch my video. And that's how this cycle goes. Symbiosis, symbiotic, something. I don't know. Bye.